Sunshine's Callie Carroll here, talking about your inner strength, your perseverance, and how you can do some badass things that you don't even know about yet, or maybe you do know, but you don't remember. So we'll dive in a second. First, say good morning, Sunshine, in the comment section wherever you're watching. Excuse me. Let me know if this is a rewatch. Perfect timing for a cough. And also, share with me anything that you're grateful for today, right? Changing our attitude and the way that we show up by choosing to look at the things that are joyful in our life instead of the things that stress us out can be completely life altering. All right. So, geez, I hope I'm not getting it. I'm not, you guys. I'm not. Okay, so Saturday night, right? My baby boy, my 4-year-old, had been sick for the last like 3 days. We've been in and out of the doctors or online appointments trying to figure out what it was to make sure that we could keep my 2-year-old, who's going through a year of chemo, safe because he's neutropenic, and just trying to maneuver things, right? But point being, my 4-year-old was relatively miserable, more than I've seen him so, because like when he had the flu, he just like slept and cried. But this one was just like, owie, 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 owie. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts. The roof of his mouth hurts so bad, right? And Saturday night, we go to bed. We're supposed to leave Sunday morning for our Texas trip to go to Texas Children's to see my son's oncology specialist. And we're leaving at 4:30. I've been packing for 2 days, buying the right things, like to package up our car seats, like all of the different stuff, right? So we're already not going to sleep because you're nervous about like getting up and getting the family out the door at 4:30 a.m. to get to the airport on time. Like it's already kind of a mess. My son, though, right, my 4-year-old is just he's like I said, he's miserable. We've been alternating Tylenol and ibuprofen like you're supposed to try to keep the pain down, doing any sort of miracle mouthwash that we can do. And over the night, I mean, it was a rough night. It was a hard night, right? Where he takes his medicine and 2 hours later he's miserable, or an hour later he's miserable, but he can't have more medicine yet, and he just wants to be comforted. And it's just like you just don't even know what to do. And as I'm sitting in this moment, in one of my hard things, I thought with myself, right, as I'm caring for him and loving on him and being very patient, I thought back to a little bit less than a year ago. In December, Whit and John, after his second clofarabine chemo treatment, which is like we had to move up 3 types of chemo. This is a much more aggressive one that drops his numbers completely and had some really harsh effects. A lot of kids don't actually go that far because of the harsh effects. So we're in December at this point where he catches this bug. We're not really sure, right? And what happened is he would vomit every 30 minutes on the dot. This is Whit and John now, right? My little chemo baby. So this is December last year. And it started at like 7:30 p.m. I thought everything was raw, it was okay in the chemo world, right? My friend came over to bring us some stuff just to support us, some laser, some light therapy, some different things. And I was like, hey, I haven't showered in days. Could I just go shower real quick? And she's like, absolutely. So like she sits with my little baby. I run, I shower, come back up. She's walking out the door. And then she like turns around to say bye. And my son just projectile vomits all over the floor, right? I didn't know that was going to be the beginning of about a 7-hour stretch where every 30 minutes, and it wasn't like this is going to be too much information for some of you guys, but this is what like really gets it across. It wasn't just like a barf. It was like like where you're like, you don't even have anything to puke. And he's just like retching. His whole body is retching every single 30 minutes. And then I would give him water because he has his diabetes insipidus. Now, this disease makes it so that you're extremely dehydrated because you can't stop releasing your water through pee. So we have to monitor how much water he has after he's medicated. So having any sort of vomiting or diarrhea is really, really challenging for somebody with diabetes insipidus. So I'm relatively new chemo mom. I'm 6 months in. Here my kid is puking every 30 minutes. I'm trying to get in anti-nausea medication, but I can't because he just vomits it out. Trying to get his DI medication in, but I can't because he just vomits it out. So you have to keep re-administering. And it was I'm talking about, can I do hard things, you guys? It's one of those moments I will just never forget. One of those periods of my life, and we've done a lot of hard things over the last year, but it was just gut-wrenching for me to watch him gut-wrenchingly be like this all night long. And we're communicating with our oncologist and the specialist and what we're supposed to do, but we were doing the right things at home, keeping him safe, right? At like 2:30, we ended up getting through this. He went to sleep. It was whatever it was. So Saturday night, I'm thinking about this. I'm like, you know what? This is hard. Like, this is difficult. I'm caring for my baby. He doesn't feel good. But Cal, remember that you can do hard things. Like think back to December, what it was like. He's not doing that. He's not retching every 30 minutes. You're not trying to figure out how to get a medication in him. Is it difficult? Do you want this time to pass? 1,000,000%. But you can do hard things. And I had to give myself this little pep talk because what we were going through, just it felt really challenging, but I wanted to acknowledge with myself that I can do those things. And I wanted to give you this reminder today that, first of all, I want you to think about some hard things you've done in the past. I don't want you to stay there. I don't want you to live there, right? I don't mean like, oh, I'm going to emotionally connect and just like, oh, that was the worst, right? But like, what have you gone through that was hard in the past? Maybe it was, completing your master's and like you had sleepless nights for years. Maybe it was switching jobs. Maybe it was changing a relationship that was not healthy for you. Maybe it was quitting drinking or smoking. Maybe it was, supporting someone through the end of their life. There are hard things that you have gone through. Maybe it was a night of gut-wrenching puke, right? You have done hard things in the past. Think about that. If you can connect with how strong you are, the next time hard things show up in your life, you can pull from that memory bank and stand in front of the mirror and look at yourself and be like, listen, you're a freaking warrior. You have done hard things before. You have done this. And I know that doesn't mean that this isn't like suck that you're going through this minute, because I wasn't like, oh, good. Well, it's just Quincy. Oh, all he's doing is having a fever and in complete pain all night. It's not like I'm dismissing the situation, but acknowledging you can do hard stuff. You can do this. And whether you're going through, maybe you need this conversation right now. Maybe you're going through something hard right now where you need to pull from a memory bank, or maybe you need to borrow somebody else's hard thing, right? To know that humans can persevere through this stuff. I had no idea I could be this strong of a chemo mom until I was one. And now I know that I can do this. Not that I like it, not that I want anybody else to do it, but I've learned a lot about myself through it, right? And there's been certain situations where you've learned that you can make a big change in your world. And change is hard too. So if you're stepping to a period of change, remind yourself, I can do hard things. I can do this. I've done this type of thing before. I've survived before. And that can provide you with a future anchor point, right? You're pulling from the past to acknowledge your accomplishments, your badassery, and you're creating a future anchor point of, I'm going to do this again, and this too shall pass. I will be on the other side at some point. And I hope that supports you guys in some sort of way, whether you're in it now or you can pull from the past so that when you're in it in the future, you can be there. Or maybe you can support somebody and you can tell them how they've done hard things in the past because they're in it right now, and you can remind them how freaking badass they are, right? I have this video of Whit and John saying you can do hard things, and it is iconic in my mind, maybe not for everybody else, but it's just a beautiful thing watching him remember this himself, me teaching him that, and then also him telling other people. So message of the day, guys, you can do hard things. I love you all. Whatever you're going through, just sending you light and love right in this moment. And remember that what is wrong with me? What is it? Perception reveals miracles. Wow. I literally couldn't remember that. Okay. I love you guys. I can do hard things. Bye.